live. Intro is playing, so we got about a minute. I'm going to pack myself a fat lip here real quick.
All right, let me see if I can get it to come up. Hold on.
And then if you guys could try to share, do all those shenanigans. And for intros now, I don't even think we need to be like, hey, welcome back to another episode of CJ Fitz Show with Evan Van Hoy. Like, I think it should just be like, hey, guys, welcome back to another episode. You know, like.
I'm good with that.
What do you think, Evan?
Yo, they can hear us on YouTube.
Oh, shoot. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode. I swear, you know. All right, welcome back to another episode. We are echoing in somebody's.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. Okay, not anymore.
Nah.
You know, this is awesome. You can just tell that we're. I don't want to say like new at it, but we're totally still new at this, man. Like we do not have the kinks worked out yet. Like,
Right? We're learning every week, man. Every week.
I love it, but yeah, guys. So that's it. That is the end of the season, right? With starting off with a recap of Super Bowl 56, Rams champions, world champions. What are your just initial reactions? You know what I mean? We'll kind of jump into the game and really break it down, but initial thoughts.
I think both teams, I mean, it sounds so coach speak, but both teams played the exact type of game they wanted to play. Like, exactly.
Yeah.
With Cincinnati going for it right off the bat, you know, over the 50-yard line, going for it. I don't care. Carrying that mentality over. And the Rams just finding their guys, getting their guys to play when the run game isn't going. Get the next man up mentality.
This is great. This is a great start to the show. I love it, dude. Hey, everyone, take us serious, please.
What we're supposed to be doing? Because I did not get that memo.
No. Are you kidding me? This is like this is far from.
Go.
This is far from professional broadcasting here. You know.
We're just having fun.
So like for me, initial reaction. Like I kind of said like last week's show, like I really thought it was going to come down to coaching, and I thought Sean McVay and company, I thought they adjusted really well in the second half. You know, minus the first play of the second half, that T. Higgins touchdown, but like I thought they adjusted extremely well, and I'm really happy for the Rams. And at the same time, the Bengals were in that game the whole time. It's not like this was not, you know what I mean? It's not like it was some blowout or anything like that. Everyone expected the Rams to win. Like, no, I thought it was a great game. You know, maybe not as electrifying as some might have thought, but I think when it comes to Super Bowl caliber and the type of game that you want for a Super Bowl, I think that game nailed it. I really do.
No, I'm with you right there. Like, I think Cincinnati's offensive line held up in the first half, and then in the second half is just when that's what changed the game. Like, they gave up 7 to 8 sacks, and it really, cost. Well, I won't say. Well, if you look at that fourth down play, though, if Joe Burrow had more time, Jamar Chase beat Ramsey on that play, and he was open. Did you know that?
Yeah, I've seen that, but like,
Yeah. But it's all about the timing. I mean, so I'm happy for Matthew Stafford, though. I picked him to be the MVP, win the Super Bowl and everything. So I'm happy for him.
yeah, me too. I mean, just that final drive, man, and like,
Right.
and I feel like we're gonna get into kind of the NFL honors here, like during the show, but like Cooper Kupp winning the MVP, like he was absolutely the most valuable player on that team on that particular drive. I mean, that was just clutch, just hands down the whole thing, super
Right.
clutch. So,
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they
I
have
mean,
done an outstanding job, kind of. I don't know who I was talking with, but watching the Super Bowl party, being like, man, they've done a great job, Cincinnati, on Cup. Up to that, but he's like, they're going to, trying to force it to Skleronik, how do you say his name, and they're feeding it to Van Jefferson in different ways. Like they were doing a great job at holding back, but he just had that like building up feeling like Cubs is about to force his way into it, or Matthew Stafford's going to force it to Cup, one of the two. And
well, you kind of see,
like you mentioned, that drive.
you kind of see it on the, so like Twitter was blowing up with that no look pass.
Yeah,
Stafford.
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Did you, Evan? Did you see this no look pass?
It was
I don't
crazy.
think I saw that one. No.
So I don't know exactly what the yardage was, but it was the big on that drive, that same drive. It was the big play, right? The big play on that drive to Cooper Kupp, and I mean, you see, Stafford is like this. He's scanning, and then he totally throws crossbody to
Not even looking at it. Yep.
to Kupp.
Has that
It was right on
muscle
point,
memory,
too.
knows where Cup's going to be. That's
Yeah.
that
Yep.
chemistry that you can't replace. That's outstanding. I gotta go check it out.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was it was exciting, like, and I don't even want to like really get into the whole. As I'm about to say it, anyways, but like
The penalties.
the penalties on the final drive I don't really. It's tough to say. Like, do I think that was a weak hold call? Absolutely, but the two other, like I didn't even see the hold at all in the play, but the other two penalties that followed it, like you know,
Right.
but then again, that's a different game that you're on fourth down then with that hold, so it's kind of like, if that hold doesn't get called, but then on the flip side, I mean that T. Higgins touchdown, man, that was a face mask, like
It should have been called back. Exactly.
that was a broke neck. You know what I mean? That wasn't even a face mask. Like that was, So it's to each your own type thing. Like I don't know. It's tough.
The only thing that got to me with is you almost set a precedent that entire game, with the refs, like where there's nothing. Like and I was loving it personally. Just you're watching it, nothing was being called. You're getting at it, and so you set this precedence until this very last moment where it's almost like, all right, well we gotta do something. It's almost what it felt like. So that's the only thing I didn't care about. It was just the suddenness, how it just got so flag happy at a crucial moment.
Right, exactly.
You look at everything, like how that one play, obviously the ghost hold or whatever you want to call it, affected, and afterwards those legitimate issues.
Yeah.
But that's just how all the way up to that point, and then all right, well, in the most important part, how it kind of, I don't think it threw any shade on there. What's going to happen is going to happen. So fourth down, shoot, they were probably going to throw a touchdown to Cooper Kupp anyways. So.
Yeah, it was, man. I really wanted to see like a special teams play, like a big special teams play. I felt like Cincinnati was getting real close there to like a punt block, and then their kick returner, young kid, Taylor, I want to say.
I don't know his name, but he was doing some
Taylor.
shifty stuff on the punt returns.
Right. Like he had one where he looked like he was gonna break it, man. And now if there's ever like a penalty, a sure penalty in a game, it's almost like a, illegal block at the back or holding on the kick return team. You know what I mean? Something along those lines. So like that's why I was really just hoping for a big special teams play. I feel like the last time I saw like a big like kick return was like Devin Hester opening kickoff against the Colts there. You know what I mean? Like that was like the last time I can remember seeing a big special teams play. So I'm a big special teamer. I love special teams, mostly because like that's where I played in high school. I wasn't special teams was like. It was like the bench warmers. The bench warmers play special teams. So
I don't want you guys getting hurt. Everybody else got to go out.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so like, I would say like let's keep talking about the Super Bowl, but like I feel like it's kind of I don't want to say
had its time.
It's had its time, right? It's like everybody sees and has had their take now on the Super Bowl. I mean, shoot, there was 114 million viewers or something like that. Some record breaking. Like it was huge. So everyone really. I kind of want to get into the NFL honors. If you guys are on board with this, because I just want to.
I mean. I'm here for it. I didn't watch it, but
I didn't watch it either. But I can tell you this: like, I am absolutely just so discouraged by the voting and how somebody like Cooper Kupp in the season that he had only receives one vote for MVP, and I think like the idea of most valuable player is so like misconstrued now. It's just. It's so quarterback driven that it really just gets under my skin. I don't know how else to say it. What do you guys think? Like
it's going to be the same thing as like the Heisman in college. You'll have your random people coming up. It's a quarterbacks thing. That's just how it's going to be. Even like you said, Cooper Kupp. You could make an argument for Aaron Donald. In certain years. You can make so many different players that are clearly more valuable when it comes to like what they do, especially if you look nowadays on the defensive side of things, like how so much is being called on the field by the one that's wearing the green dot.
Yeah.
Whoever that is. To me, that there needs to be a swing go in that direction a little bit more because. That is a massively difficult job, and there's some guys out there that do it quite superb.
Yeah,
I be the quarterback.
I agree with you. Like I think the most valuable player really needs to be the guy that is most valuable to their team, right? So like yes, the quarterback's essential, you know what I mean? But there's some teams out there that win. And it's not because of their quarterback play. And I think the Indianapolis Colts are a prime example of that, right? Jonathan Taylor did all that work this year. Carson Wentz wasn't impressive at all. And, granted, they missed out on the playoffs. But as far as, like, the weight that he plays on the weight that he plays to that team or the value that he plays to that team, I think it absolutely makes him I think it absolutely makes him a candidate for most valuable player because he was the most valuable player to that team. So, I don't know.
I saw a little stat right here. It says Jerry Rice is the only receiver in NFL history to win the triple crown in receiving, the Offensive Player of the Year, and his Super Bowl MVP. Cooper Kupp did all three in one season.
Oh shoot!
Ain't that crazy?
It is, man. And then I mean, he proved it right there on that last drive, right? So yes, a wide receiver. It takes a quarterback to get the wide receiver there to do the work, right? But he's fighting off double teams. He's working just as hard. You know what I mean? And he proved it right then and there that he was the most valuable person to that team because they lost Odell for the game. They couldn't get the run game going, right? The quarterback, the play action, Evan, you hit on it last week. They were going to get that play action going, and they couldn't get that play action going. Cooper Kupp was the guy that became the most valuable player to his team in that moment, and he probably was on that most of the season. You know what I mean? So it's kind of oh. And then dude, listen, man, this is when we start running out of football stuff to talk about, right? Stats and games and stuff. This is me. This is the Fitz that you guys are gonna get. The guy that just gets outraged by the smallest things in life. So I thought Micah Parsons was Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't know. You look at.
I don't even know who. So who else got other on the voting for the outside of Cooper Kupp's one, and all of the ones that Aaron Rodgers got.
So Tom Brady was the other one. And in reality, Tom Brady had one of his best careers, best seasons at 40. How old is he, CJ?
45, I think.
Yeah, 45. At 45.
Yeah.
At 45.
Yeah, and to me, if you're working on that whole scale of things, I definitely think he's more valuable to that team than Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not throwing any shade on Aaron Rodgers' side. I just think it is almost more of that popular type vote. Now, obviously, if you removed Aaron Rodgers from the team, they would just obviously be awful.
So T.J. Watt got the Defensive Player of the Year. Jamar Chase got the Offensive Rookie of the Year. Let's see. Michael is the defensive. And then Joe Burrow got the Comeback Player of the Year. So.
Yeah. Can't argue with that one.
Right.
We got a viewer chiming in here. He says the Super Bowl felt like a Week 10 matchup. If you look at it more in depth, it's nothing more than a Vegas spread game. So I get what he's saying for sure, but at the same time, when you have essentially the two best teams in the league facing off each other, right? They're the way Vegas was moving between 4 and 5 all week. All right, this is what he said, but don't you expect exactly that though? We were kind of talking about so this is best team on the AFC, best team in the NFC, doing off, right? They earn the right to be there as the best team in their conference. You would almost kind of expect the same kind of matchup that you saw, right? This was.
And this isn't one of those years too where before going into the playoffs or whatnot, we were like, oh, this clearly one team is better, they're going to run away with it. There was maybe some upsets along the way, but then as Cincinnati started performing and other teams started getting into their mode throughout the playoffs, it was one of those things where you could see any team win any single week, any part of that week. And what happened on this Super Bowl, I believe, is that you saw both teams coming in and play, like I said, playing their exact game. And what we mentioned last week with Cincinnati's defense, they had to play at this certain level to be able to stopping the run and then keeping that play action from happening. And them doing so, I think, kept that being a big separation. Because I think if Cincinnati their defense did not kind of go out there and hold pat. They come out, get behind right off the bat, whatever. They're used to that. But play their game, I think we would have seen one of those runaway type games because the Rams offense is primed, even with Odell going down. They were primed to just go ahead and just keep doing their thing. And so we did have this chance of a blowout Super Bowl, which I saw some people writing about and talking about how the Bengals are just lucky to be there. I'd seen a few articles. I was just kind of taken back by that because there is that chance for that to happen. But in reality, the Bengals defense is one of the main things that got them there, and their special teams on some games. And they kept performing. They kept going. They always kind of under the radar throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they didn't win it, but it's what kept it I thought, a much more entertaining and very well played game. But I had them to win. But that's.
What's your take, CJ?
No, I agree 1%. Like, I mean, they like Cincinnati. So they ran the ball with Joe Mixon. They even threw a touchdown. But what really got to me was that line. They did so good in the first half that Sean McVay and that defense, like you said, they went through and see what they needed to change, and Aaron Donald started pressuring the quarterback, and I believe it was like 7 to 8 sacks on Burrow, and like
in the second, so they had yes, it was 7 sacks in the second half, right? So as far as and kind of like I said, like what we talked about last week on the show, like I think it's really going to come down to coaching and whatever that meant, right? So we know like Zach Taylor, they go for it on fourth down, they don't get it. The Rams turn around and that's the Odell Beckham drive touchdown, you know what I mean? And then, but that wasn't the game decision because, Stafford threw a pick. They had the big play to T. Higgins in the second half. Like, I mean, the Bengals are absolutely in control of that game. But then, yeah, defensive adjustments in coaching, and you start getting the Burrow, and then he was hurt, and I mean that's what our viewer here said. He's like he felt really bad for Joe Burrow's knees, like he's.
Mm-hmm. Like I mean, look, they like almost like from last year what happened. So that's like one of their key things they need to do this offseason.
Well, and flowing into that too. I know we're going to be hitting up some free agent stuff, but I mean, they ranked 26th on cap use for O-line. They spend among the top 5 or 7 least amounts in the entire league. So obviously, and that showed. That was one of the things that absolutely showed. We had talked about they did an outstanding job that first half to kind of keep them up.
And that's the thing I don't understand. You have your franchise quarterback here, and like your franchise quarterback. Or your future franchise quarterback, all right? I don't think we can quite say that, we also thought Carson Palmer was going to be Cincinnati's franchise quarterback a long time ago. But, all right, you got this rookie quarterback who's really starting to look good, and then he tears his ACL, right? What's the first thing you go do? Well, shit, I'm going to go find myself a left tackle, and I'm going to pay him as much as I can, But then on the flip side, like what you said, so they focus on their defense, and then ultimately their defense is what gets them to that Super Bowl, right? So it's like
could have drafted a left tackle, but they didn't. They drafted a receiver in Lamar Chase,
which also has panned out quite well. So
exactly,
panned out from there.
God, I mean, we could sit here and be armchair GMs or what, keyboard GMs or whatever the hell they want to call us, but like it's tough decision making out there, man. And I mean, and ultimately, the ultimate goal is to get to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, right? So,
yeah, I mean,
they got there, they didn't win,
right? But it's like
bright future though.
Absolutely, they got a bright future, and with like. We're about to jump into like AFC NFC North, or just to kind of segue into that, the AFC North is now absolutely 100% wide open, right? Roethlisberger's out. Pittsburgh has not been performing to the level that they once have. You kind of like. I wonder how the year plays out with with Lamar Jackson not getting hurt. You know what I mean? Does Baker Mayfield finally flip the Heisman switch? And yeah, I know, I'm with you right there, Evan. I see your face. long time ago, before we even started this little escapade, I said to CJ, I said, Baker's not going to succeed at all, right? And he comes out his rookie year, and he played really good his rookie year. And I was like, okay, like, I'll eat my words here. But now it's totally panning out for me. I'm okay with all that. So, I mean, yeah, all right. So there, let's segue into it, man. So, AFC North.
AFC North, all right.
AFC
North.
North.
Want to hit up the Browns and just keep going with that?
Yeah, let's just hit up the round. Let's just keep going.
Well, hey, I'll go ahead and throw this in there because on my side, just kind of looking around on some of the cap space, free agency, what is being utilized, I found it extremely interesting that the Browns got Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, and Austin Hooper. Just a quick thought: how much combined do you think they all take up salary cap space? Yeah, 100%. How much percentage do they take up?
I don't know. I'm gonna shoot for like 30%.
You're honestly, if you're throwing in all of them in there, it's stupid high up there. It's 22.2% of their salary cap is those three players.
Yeah.
And I found that just Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry 16% on their own. Like, and I'm not knocking on, honestly, of all those. Jarvis Landry is a continuous, ever since he's been a continuous performer, stud for what he is.
Absolutely.
But that to me is just baffling. And they're all free agents the same year, 2023. I think.
I don't think Jarvis will be back.
Yeah, I think that he can go out this year on some buyout stuff, but I just found that to be baffling. And
yeah, I think the Austin Hooper. I mean, do you have the contract? Because I remember when they signed Austin Hooper, and immediately my thought was like, why are they signing this guy? Like, I thought Njoku was primed to be a star tight end in this league, and then signing Hooper like that, Austin Hooper, who I didn't think was this premier tight end coming.
Really good year at Atlanta.
Right. The last good tight end that Atlanta had was Algie Crumpler. Tell me I'm wrong, all right? You guys probably don't even remember that name, right?
Atlanta's got it good for the tight end side of things, but that's another story on another day. Historically,
but he signed a 4-year contract, $42 million.
Okay. So,
man,
right. I mean, and now you got. There's, not to get into the rumor mill here, but there's rumors there that Myles Garrett wants out. You know what I mean? You got Nick
Jadeveon Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney is a free agent this year. You know what I mean? So
Finley, you're losing all your edge rushers.
Right.
Potentially.
So it's it just comes down to player personnel management, right? And you just take a page out of Bill Belichick's book, man. Like, this guy builds through the draft. He finds value in practice squad guys. He gets guys into his system that works. Like, he's a wizard at it, and every team should sit there and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know what his name is off the top of my head. All right, so you guys know do you guys know the theory of Moneyball, right? In terms of baseball, right? So it's kind of it's the idea to buy wins and you buy I'm totally stealing this from the movie. I'm quoting this from the movie Moneyball. All right, but I mean, it's a great concept, right? And I think that NFL teams should really start looking into it. And I think they are. I think they're working their way into this whole analytic. Analytics is becoming more and more and more valuable to the NFL, right? But it's the idea of buying wins by buying runs, right? And so like you get wins by buying runs, and you buy runs by taking stats, guys, like their on base percentage, right? Well, if a guy is getting on base, if your whole team has a high on base percentage, right, they're either gonna walk runs in, or they're gonna drive in singles and doubles that are gonna get runs in, right? And so you're paying players cheap for low production, but that low production equals high production in the end, which is wins, right? So, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm confident that the Browns actually the whole guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the guy that
he's a computer.
Yes, the guy that kind of implemented that over in the Oakland Athletics years back. I'm pretty sure that they're paying, or the Browns are paying him now. Like he's on their staff, or
he is.
Yep.
And if he's the one that's in charge of putting together some of these roster pieces I'm looking at, sign me up. I'll Browns. Listen, real quick. I will work for a 100th of whatever he is. Because I'm looking right now. I'm looking at this wide receiver core. Just a quick thing. We were on Jarvis Landry, and I can see why they throw him in there and pay him so much. I mean, obviously they have Beckham, got him away. That experiment didn't work out.
Right.
But behind that, have Anthony Schwartz, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Demetric Felton. That's it. After Landry either leaves this year or next year, I mean that's crying for free agency wide receiver move.
So I think Peoples-Jones is a solid number 2 in this league. I really do. I think he is super productive. And then ultimately, I mean, but like common denominator here is Baker, and then if you really want to dive even further down, it's Kevin Stefanski and the play calling, etc. Right? Like you have, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and BS everybody. Like I watched every single Browns game because I didn't, but like you have this extremely talented running back core. You could probably for the year, and now the Rams are going to take it on, or well, no, they released him, so he actually became a free agent. But like, I don't know, man. Open up some it's time to throw out your playbook. It's time to get into some West Coast stuff. You could probably find cheaper wide receivers out there, right? Guys that.
I've got 2 in mind that I'm looking at for them. It's on the cheaper side. You can buy low. You got Paris Campbell coming out of Indianapolis, if he'd be able to jump in there. And not a number 1 guy, but you got Mecole Hardman that could come in.
Absolutely, right? So you
jump off.
So with that style of offense, that West, getting the run game open, and then you want fast, quick receivers here that are going to get open in space, right? To open up your play action. Very, very similar to what they're doing with Cooper Kupp over there in LA. Like, I mean, a guy that I really like, who I always thought has never really had an opportunity on a team, Adam Humphries. Adam Humphries is a free agent this year. Like, out of Washington, right? Like, you want these guys that are going to get open in space. Like, I don't know. What do you think, CJ?
Like, AJ Green, like, bring some veteran experience in there, so.
Yeah.
Because he's a free agent, so. I mean, and I, like, Christian Kirk, he's a free agent out of Arizona, so there's another one.
Yeah, Christian Kirk, he's a speedster, too. Right? So if I'm the Cleveland Browns right now, my whole mindset is I'm going to try my best to keep this foundation of my defense, right? Because ultimately, and if you guys disagree with me, I'm just go look at the Super Bowl and what happened there. Defense wins you championships. I believe that wholeheartedly, no matter what. I mean,
Trenches.
You win the game in the trenches, right? They do. The Browns have an outstanding offensive line, at least for run blocking. I don't think necessarily pass blocking, right? Clearly not, because pretty sure Baker had some shoulder surgery, etc. Like, I think the dude got a little dinged up this year. But you keep that foundation of your defense together. Go buy some cheap players, right? Some talented cheap players, guys that you're going to get probably below market value, and then see what kind of offense you could do with that. Like, and you might see something out of Baker that you didn't really, haven't. Baker Mayfield might have been this 5-step drop, air raid offense guy in college with Oklahoma. He's not that in the NFL. He's not. So you need to get that guy. You got to get this guy. You got to get the ball out quick, create space with speed, and just sit on your run game and let your defense do the work, man. Teams have done it in the past.
And I mean, and if you're banking on him, it depends on what the back office is thinking, because this is the year you have to figure it out with him, or you're going to be sitting in that limbo period. I know we talked about with Jimmy G. What if he won the Super Bowl and all these quarterbacks, whether you end up throwing that contract and now you're stuck with it. This is the year you have to figure it out. So I figure they would try to probably bring back Jarvis and sign a couple of these guys that we've been mentioning and see what Baker can do and see what you have, so you can at least make, hey, this year's decision, Super Bowl, awesome, would be amazing, but we're figuring out what we're going on with the future of our franchise.
Yeah, what is he? This would be his 5th year. So he's actually on his 5th year option right now. So this is his 5th year option in his rookie deal. So.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Pittsburgh. I know.
Is that like enough said?
CJ,
Right.
Take the lead, dude. Because I don't want to touch this. I don't want to touch this team. I really don't.
Big Ben retiring. Some other notable free agents: Joe Hayden, Juju Smith, Terrell Edmonds, the safety, and then the guard Trey Turner. So I mean, I think the most important piece they're going to be looking is obviously the quarterback. Do they sign a veteran like a Jimmy G, or even a, like, I don't know if Carson Wentz, or I don't know if he's a free agent. Was he on a 1-year deal? Either way, they need to either they're going to bring in a veteran, or they're going to draft a quarterback in the draft. So I mean, I think that's their main decision, like, going through the all season right now, is trying to figure out who's going to take over that role that Ben played in. So,
and I think this year, I mean, it's so up in the air, because I don't think that it's the year you want to invest in a quarterback in the first round. Personally, you have certain ones. It's a lot deeper when you get further into the draft. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, you may be able to find yourself a Dak 4th round or something like that. Matt Corral might be a kind of a good pick later on in that window. And so on that free agent side of things, there are some, like you said, Jimmy G. I think he's going to, even where he was, I think he's going to come pricey for them. I believe, they've got about $32 million on their adjusted, on their estimated cap space.
Even a Gardner Minshew out of Philly, I mean,
yes,
I think he'll be a great fit in Pittsburgh.
That's really what it seems like. It's going to be like a Gardner Minshew type player that either goes in there, fills it, and just surprises the heck out. Or, I'm not saying this, but like a Tyler Heineke, not putting them in the same window, but somebody that can go in there and play well and kind of surprise possibly. But you have to set your parameters, and as a GM, however you're understanding and now or build. I think they're in that build mode.
Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record as a head coach. And call me crazy, but I think that is the mentality that they are going to go into this season with. you have. So I've always had this mentality and this belief. So teams have always been built around the quarterback, right? But like, why not build a team and then plug the quarterback in? You know why? It's because the quarterback's the general, all this stuff, yada yada yada. Like, these guys are all professional athletes. So you know what's out there, you know what's available, you know what kind of offense you're trying to run, which is give Najee Harris the ball and hope Chase Claypool catches it. Right?
Or Dante Johnson.
You know, I mean, is that not it, right? So they have Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson, right? They have two young, talented receivers that are, and then, God, I can't say his name. Pat Freiermuth?
Freiermuth. Yeah, Freiermuth is freaking.
He's legit. Awesome, dude. He's a legit tight end. He's a legit tight end. You have the weapons there. Go find the guy that is going to be able to, one, I think, camaraderie and gel with your team and all that stuff. Like, I think that is, I'm sold on the Gardner Minshew thing.
I was about to say, I feel like you're about to just build up to this Gardner Minshew moment.
Listen, I love Gardner Minshew. I love the guy's mentality. I love what he brings to the game. I love his energy. You know, and I don't think he's been given this fair shot at all, right? Jacksonville, Urban Meyer comes in, they draft Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew out the door. Goes to back up Jalen Hurts. Excuse me. He gets this kind of BS opportunity, if you ask me. You know what I mean? They have receivers are hurt. They're, it was just this, go get Gardner Minshew. Day one, he's your starter, and just let him build a relationship with those guys. Get on their same page. Is Gardner Minshew a future Hall of Famer? I don't think so. But in free agency, I think he's your best option, your best choice. I mean,
he's going to allow you to, one, still keep that winning season streak going and still look respectable, to keep that cap space large enough to where you can go make some moves this year, and then make a potential move in the draft next year, in the next few drafts, where there's a lot more depth on that QB side.
Right.
At the same time, he's still keeping a fan base engaged and excited to see the games, which is obviously what GMs want to have as well.
Like the steel curtain, the Pittsburgh Steelers, yellow towel, they would eat up Gardner Minshew's freaking energy, dude. They would. Absolutely. That is the guy. You guys heard it here first on the CJ and Fit show. Gardner Minshew, Pittsburgh. God, I love it, man. I love it.
Now, in reality, it's going to be like Andy Dalton.
Oh.
He is a free agent, so.
And how about the next team? What's the next team we're doing?
Yeah.
The Ravens.
Ravens.
Yeah. It's the Ravens.
I don't really think there's. So, I don't even think it's really fair to even sit here and pick apart the Ravens, because, to be honest, you didn't even get the full Ravens this year. Do you know what I mean?
So many injuries. So
many. J.K. Dobbins, or Lamar gets hurt. You know, I had seen on my Twitter feed, Ravens fans were calling for Tyler Huntley to be the starter next year, and I think Tyler Huntley's, I think he's talented, absolutely, but Lamar is a league MVP. You know what I mean? That you're flipping the script here. I was talking about offenses that plug in the quarterback because your offense is already there. Lamar is their offense, and I think he can absolutely carry that weight. And truth be told, the Ravens have always had the Ravens defense got ate up this year. But they had a lot of energy. They had a lot of injuries, and ever since I became a fan of the sport, which is I don't know, I'm thinking Trent Dilfer and Ray Lewis, Super Bowl 30, 39, something like that. You know what I mean? against the Giants, Kerry Collins and the Giants. Like, come on, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Like, the Ravens have always just had a mean defense. So I think it's really, really unfair to sit here and just be like, the Ravens need to do this and that and that. I mean, if anything, they probably need to protect Lamar a little bit more. And by doing that, you either you get a strong, beefy offensive line to establish your run game more. Because, I mean, Lamar's escapability is one thing. You know, like, he protects himself in that aspect as far as sacks, etc. I think you really just want to get that offensive line going in order to establish the run. And they still did that really well, even without having J.K. Dobbins. And, like, we didn't even get to see J.K. Dobbins this year.
Yeah.
You know, we saw him his rookie year. We didn't even get to see him this year. So...
And that's massively going to help out that offensive line too, and Lamar, because even Gus Edwards, having Gus Edwards in there as a secondary option is outstanding too. J.K. Dobbins and them are going, health, be it they're all good. They're going to be outstanding with Lamar Jackson. What they need is what you said. They need the line on both sides. They need to get their offensive line, primarily on the tackle side, really shored up, and then get some. I know their edge kind of.
Calais Campbell is a free agent, so what's supposed.
How old is that guy? I feel like he's been around forever.
He's
right.
30.
Didn't he start out in Arizona? I think he did.
I don't have to look it up.
When you got guys like Von Miller's a free agent.
Von Miller? What did you say?
Von Miller's a free agent.
Yeah, for the Rams.
He's a free agent, though.
Yeah, you said bring him in.
Just carried over. Yeah. That could be
I'm trying to think of it. They definitely need like offensively, right? Or wide receiver, like Hollywood Brown is their deep threat. Then they have Rashad Bateman, who I loved coming out of Minnesota, man. Absolutely loved him. Like, I thought that he was going to be a first round pick. I think they got him in like the second round. Like, it wasn't far. But I mean, he's your possession receiver.
Yeah, no, they on their wide receiver side, they're set on there. Even like you mentioned, the two guys, but then also on the depth, you've got Devin Duvernay. He's an outstanding, like, you're just kind of Cole Beasley going to be in there, speedy, athletic, and physical, and will do anything to help you win. He's a great guy there. The main thing that's kind of hovering over the Rams, oh my gosh, Ravens.
The Ravens.
Issue here
the Birds.
is I was thinking the Von Miller is their cap space. They are kind of low. They're like near estimated like $9 million up on there. So if they are going to try to build anything through that,
it's gonna be depth moves at this point. Like we're saying, like, I don't think it's even fair to really sit here and pick apart the Ravens. I really don't.
They just need to get healthy.
That's it, man. Maybe take that $9 million team doctor.
Maybe find some tackles to kind of just keep a healthy rotation going.
Yeah.
And
listen, I love the swinging tackle, right? The swing tackle. I love offensive lines that have, continuity, and you can rotate guys in and out. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone's healthy, Pittsburgh, with all their success in their run games throughout the years, they've always had strong swinging tackles and super healthy offensive line. And then it also always helped having Big Ben back there, because he was Big Ben and he couldn't get sacked. And now we move on to the Bengals.
Yes. They have tons of money to play with too.
Yeah.
Like a good amount. I think it's nearly $50 million on the cap space.
No line.
I'm looking at it now, man.
No. I'll go straight into it because I know we're running low on the time here. What I think they need to go do is go get Quentin Nelson from the Colts, the guard.
Ooh.
That's what they need to go do. Throw whatever. What I don't know what he would go for. 20 a year. I don't know what a guard goes for, but they have the cap space. You've got. They need to go do something like that. There's other guys out there. I just think he's a great fit for what they'll need.
Is he a free agent this year?
I think he's got the option on it. Yeah.
Maybe he'd be a restricted free agent.
Would he be?
They could get Armstead though out of New Orleans. He's a free agent. The tackle.
Yeah. What?
So
He's a Quentin Nelson's a guard.
He's a guard.
I'm pretty sure he'd be a restricted free agent. I don't. Because he was drafted. Quentin Nelson was drafted in 2018.
If they trade for him this year, it would actually save the Colts $13.7 million in cap space. So they wouldn't actually be taking a hit if they do that either pre or post. As long as they trade him, they can. Because he's an unrestricted free agent in 2023.
Okay.
And yeah, I know this is more free agent talk. I was just thinking if they just gun for that.
I mean, I love it. They probably would. I mean, but and at that point, then it sucks for Indianapolis because if Indianapolis does that, I feel like they're hitting the reset button.
Oh yeah. All right.
You know. So then now you're throwing a tender on What?
I'm just taking the view as a bingle. To me, that is like,
Oh, you make a big move. Absolutely. You need to protect your quarterback, hands down. No questions
asked.
asked.
The last 3 games of the playoffs, and you couldn't do anything about it.
So.
Anything.
Defensively, I think they're losing Eli Apple.
And Jesse Bates.
They'll probably re-sign Jesse Bates. They'll probably re-sign Bates. Bates was super productive for them.
Yep.
I'm trying to look to see who they're losing
even
right now.
They're in CJ. Was it Uzama?
Uzama.
Yeah.
Uzama.
Uzama.
Yeah, he's a free agent this year.
Is there any? Let's see. That's where I feel like they would draft a tight end. Is there a big tight end coming out this year?
I mean, there is, but it's all second to third, and then there's no really first round talent this year.
Yeah, they're losing Jesse Bates, Vernon Hargrave. Like I'm thinking of their secondary right now. Eli Apple.
There's a lot of corners and safeties coming in the draft though.
Trey Flowers.
Ones.
I mean, Flowers came in for. Who was it that got hurt for them during the Super Bowl? Trey Flowers came in for them, and he played well. But I mean, I think it's and when we get into free agency really and start, I think we'll be able to plug and play a little bit more who we think that they're going to go for. But ultimately, I feel like we're all in agreement here that O-line. I mean, I feel like anybody that could you don't even have to understand the game of football to understand that they need an offensive line.
Guard, tackle, all of it.
So, if you guys are up for it, we can jump into the NFC North, or we can save it for next week's show. And
I think we could combine the North next week with some of those. We won't talk about anything.
I think so too. We don't have, like you said, we don't have anything to really talk about.
The only this month is the combine, so
the combine starts next month.
No, the combine starts this month on 28th.
At the end of the month.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, okay.
February. So, then good old draft. Ready.
Man. Hey, speaking of that might be where the bingo goes. I don't know. I think they already have the safety taken, but that Lewis sign out of Georgia. That's
Safety
still in
out
that
of Georgia.
safety spot. Yeah, that guy's awesome. Wicked. Anyways, let's go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm all for it. I can't wait to hear your guys' draft day. I'm gonna be this guy. I'm just gonna nod. I cannot wait to hear you guys break down the draft.
Ready.
That's me right now because all this free agent stuff I see, guys, but it just goes over my head as what's actually possible.
Yeah,
Right.
no, that's me. I mean, so just to kind of, I guess, keep the viewers interested, some of our future plans here. We're going to be doing a salary cap 101 in the future for those of you who don't quite understand how the salary cap works, how NFL contracts work, bonuses, what, guaranteed money and how it all affects the salary cap. You see a contract for 4 years, $20 million, that could be paid out in, 1, 2, 6, 7 million, in those 4 years just to move around there. It's not like a 4-year, $5 million contract, or, 1 year or $5 million per year. Like the money can be moved around, etc. Like, so we're going to be doing salary cap 101. I think we're talking about getting a Google spreadsheet going as well, maybe where we could start plugging in who we think is going to go where free agency wise and what kind of money they're going to get, just to kind of impact that. I might have just thrown that idea out there without even really discussing with you guys. What do you think?
I want to do a mock draft too. So
Yeah, we'll definitely do a mock draft. Poor Evan. I think Evan's laptop died.
oh yeah. No, he's playing a game with us. He's yeah, no, he's gone.
Oh, shucks. Well, I mean, that pretty much does it for this week's episode. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We really appreciate it. And like always, we're trying to get this thing up and going and get the social media going and getting some more fun activities or ways for the viewers to interact with us. So thanks for tuning in this week, and we'll be on next week, next Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time.